Hi everyone, I'm Arthur Dickens and this is my Rugby Legends podcast. In each episode, I interview an amazing rugby player or coach, get their insight and advice for young rugby players just like me who are keen to learning it better. In this episode, I'm speaking with Greig Laidlaw, ex-Edinburgh, Gloucester, Clement and Scotland scrum-half. Greig is a legend of the Scottish game, a dynamic scrum-half and sometimes fly-half, who also a first-choice goal kicker. In 76 appearances for Scotland, he scored over 700 points. Greig holds the record for the most appearances as a captain of the Scotland men's team. He led the national side 40 times between 2013 and 2019. I hope you find Greig's knowledge and wisdom as helpful as I did. Enjoy.
I truly believe it's playing lots of different sports. You can also always learn something from another sport. I think the players that think about it too much and maybe don't enjoy it, they're the ones that maybe don't play the best. I think what makes a really great team is everybody understands the common goal and why you're doing it. You can't be upset at yourself for too long. That's probably something where I wasn't very good.
So, Greig, how did you get into rugby and how old were you when you started?
I got into rugby probably because of my family. I had three cousins who were all boys and they all loved the game. And then I think I was about 6 years old, so I was pretty young. But yeah, I just loved the game. Where I grew up in Scotland, Arthur, it was like quite a small community, and a lot of the stuff revolved around about rugby. So yeah, it's great, some great memories.
That's very interesting. Thank you. And what other sports did you play growing up? And at what age should you give them up for rugby?
Yeah, I played lots of sports, which I truly believe is a great thing. I played football, golf, tennis, probably a bit of badminton and stuff at school. I played quite a diverse range of sports. I think I probably gave them up maybe around 16, all the other ones. So, quite late. I did like to try and play. I thought about playing football at one point, but I stuck to rugby. But I still try and play golf now as well, but not as good as I used to. So, and what about you, Arthur? Do you play any other sports?
I played golf, cricket, rugby, hockey.
That's a good range. I truly believe it's playing lots of different sports. You can also always learn something from another sport. So it's a really good thing to be able to do.
As you said, you played a load of sports. What one was your favourite, except from rugby?
Yeah, either golf or football. Probably golf, but I was just never good enough. I got a little bit frustrated at times.
Did you have a handicap?
Yeah, I did. At one point, I played off 8. Was about the best I got down to. So, what about yourself? You got a handicap? Or?
Yeah, I'm 14.1.
Oh, 0.1, huh? There you go. That means you're definitely into, if you're counting the 0.1s. What about your cricket, or what? Are you good at cricket?
Yeah, I'm an all-rounder in cricket.
Okay.
Did you play cricket?
No, I never played at cricket. It's probably not played as much up here, but in Scotland, obviously it's played loads here in Australia. But yeah, I never played much cricket.
Thank you. And when did you know that you were really good at rugby?
Once you maybe start getting selected in a few representative teams, something like that, I ended up, from memory, playing for Scotland under 18s, in my regional area as well. You get picked up for the 18s, the under 16s. I think when you start to get asked to play in teams like that, you realise you've got some potential, obviously. And I think that was probably the time I realised that. And I was quite lucky, I guess, when I was growing up, because obviously when I was really young, rugby wasn't professional. I think it turned professional when I was about 10 years old, 1995. So it was a great time for me because obviously I could see the evolution of the game of rugby going professional. And it's something I dreamed of. So I don't know what your aspirations are, Arthur, and your dreams if you wanted to make it all the way to play rugby, but obviously it's a bit more common nowadays, which is great, isn't it?
Yeah, very great. Thank
Would
you.
you like Would
And
you like to play, Arthur? Would you like to be a
now,
professional cricketer or a rugby player?
my dream is to be a rugby player. Greg, how difficult was it to move between the positions?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's not easy at times. I think I always liked the challenge of it, and it was almost it was good to again coming back to playing different sports, playing different positions. I always enjoyed it because it was a real challenge, for myself. And I think, I was very fortunate. I guess I was able to play both 9 and 10 on a few occasions for Scotland, and I played 10 for Edinburgh a little bit as well. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think sometimes with 9, the position, and then all you're doing is really running after the ball and chasing the ball and getting tired and passing. So I think sometimes in that number 10 position, I always liked it. It was a little bit nicer. You had a little bit sort of more time to look around and try and help the team. So it was great to play a couple of different positions.
That's very interesting. Thank you. And as you said, you played own positions. Which position did you enjoy playing the most?
I probably actually enjoyed playing number 10 more than I did number 9 sometimes. Probably because the reasons I've just explained. I think you can sometimes, as I said, help the team a little bit more. And sometimes you just get a little bit more time and space to pick your head up, try and use your vision. And vision was probably one of the good skills I was able to pick up over the years. Do you have positions yet in your team?
Yes, so I play. Yeah, we do, and I'm fly half. So,
Oh, okay. So stick at the fly half, but all the other sports that you're playing after, that's really going to help you because your vision. So somebody like Finn Smith, Finn Russell, these guys, they've also got great vision. They can see things very quickly. So in your cricket and your hockey, seeing space, seeing the ball, that's going to help you.
that's very helpful. Thank you. And what was your key strength as a scrum half?
Probably my key strength was, trying to do probably my decision making. So trying to do the right thing at the right time. I think I really had to work hard at, developing my game, my passing, my kicking. That probably became a strength of mine as well. But I think what I sort of prided myself on was my real decision making to really help the team, whether it's to, whether pass, kick, run, whatever that decision is. I really tried to make that a real strength of mine through understanding the game.
As you said, you're a good kicker. What was like your favorite kick and that you did the best?
Yeah, kicking. I always enjoyed kicking, which I think for any youngster that's a kicker, if you can enjoy what you're doing, I think you know eventually I was very lucky. Obviously, I got to play in front of big full stadiums and a lot of people watching on the TV. But I think if you can not think about that and just keep thinking about the skill and keep enjoying the skill, that'll really help you. So coming back to my favourite kick. Well, probably for Edinburgh Rugby. Actually, we once played Racing Metro up in Edinburgh, and from memory, the final score was I think 48 points to 47, and I was able to kick when we were on 46. I kicked the conversion to make it 48 points to 47, and that one kind of sticks in my mind.
That's very interesting. Thank you. What was the hardest part about playing scrum half?
The hardest part about playing scrum half, I would say, difficult to say the hardest because you're touching the ball so many times. Between the 9 and the 10, you probably touch the ball more times than anybody else in a game of rugby. So I guess that decision making it comes into back into the equation. I think um, having good skills because you're touching the ball so many times. You don't obviously want to be making too many errors. Yeah, so I think, probably, and also fitness as well. Probably the hardest thing, actually. You're probably one of the fittest players in the team. So I think maybe some people that just, watch rugby on the weekend maybe don't appreciate a lot of the hard work that goes in behind the scenes. So the probably between the number 9 and the fullback 15s, they probably normally, sometimes depending on the game, wingers, they clock up the most meters probably in a game of rugby. So the fitness is got to be right up there to be a halfback.
Can you tell us more about that?
So what it looks like, well, certainly now in the modern day, players will go through a Bronco test. So that is a test where pretty much the whole team gets tested, but it's always good for the 9s and the 15s, as I said, to probably finish out in front. So you start on the try line, you run to 20 metres, back to the try line, out to the 40, back to the try line, out to the 60 metres, back to the try line. And that's only one rep, and you got to do that 5 times, just as quick as you can. And that's basically, most teams use that kind of test. So there you go. You can maybe try that. After you can get you and your teammates can try it.
That's what our coach at my club rugby actually introduced a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, there you go. Can you remember? Did you get a time at all?
We all run as a team. We have to do it after every training session, which isn't the best. What's the best piece of advice a coach has gave you?
Just be yourself, I think, is probably one of the best pieces of advice I've had. You pick up a lot of good things over the years, but I think that one of the most important things is being true to yourself. And I think if you had a coach once, just told me just to be myself, just play the game that I think's right. And I think that's always really stuck in my mind. Really being myself. I always enjoyed the game of rugby, and so that's something I really tried to keep doing. Even playing for Scotland, playing professionally. I think the players that maybe think about it too much and maybe don't enjoy it, they're the ones that maybe don't play the best. So if you can really be yourself, enjoy the game, I think it goes a long way to really helping you become the best player you can become.
Wow, thank you. And what rituals did you have before a game?
I never had too many rituals before the game. I always like to just try and relax. Just relax, take my time, go through my routine. I was always one of the first ones out there because of my goal kicking. So I'd go out probably before the team, end up doing a little bit of goal kicking, and just try and relax. Don't think too much.
Did you have any headphones on whilst you were goal kicking, or listen to any music?
You've been watching Finn Russell too much. No, I never. I never. I was always a big believer, and I couldn't wear headphones in the game of rugby. So I like to really try and keep as many things the same as I could. So get out there, imagine, that first kick of the game, really trying to sort of visualize that first kick of the game in my warm-up preparation. And just be ready. So no headphones for me.
Wow, that's very helpful. Thank you. You hold the record for the most appearances as captain of the Scotland men's team. What would you say makes a great captain?
I think it's somebody that leads by example, to be honest, Arthur. I think you don't want to feel as though you need to talk all the time. Especially, young leaders, I believe, sometimes fall into the trap of believing maybe they have to talk all the time, and they don't. Sometimes it's good to step back, allow other people to lead as well. And then again, it just comes back to kind of what we talked about before a little bit. If you could, when I was captain, if I could just be myself, keep enjoying the game, then the best version of myself would follow, and ultimately that makes me the best captain I can be as well. So lead by example. Just be yourself.
Thank you. And were there any mantras that you lived by?
My preparation was really key to me in terms of I didn't want to go into any game, any international game, any club game, feeling unprepared. So that was probably one of the key things for me. Is if I felt I'd done enough work in the week, I'd done all my video analysis, all that stuff, all my preparation going into the game. That was the only really thing that I sort of, lived by. And then after that, comes back to I gave myself self-confidence by being prepared. And then again, because I was self-confident, because I knew I'd done all the preparation work, and I knew I couldn't have done anything else to prepare myself for that game. So I knew I was ready, and then I'd just get out there and enjoy it.
Thank you. And you played in some great teams. Which was the best team you played in, and what made them great?
I did. I was very fortunate. I thought, as you say, I played in some great teams. I think any great team, I think, really understands the common goal. So obviously that common goal is to win on the weekend or to win a championship or whatever that is. So I played in a few really good Scotland teams. The Lions team that I was part of in 2017, it was a great team as well. I think there's so many great players, and it's great, isn't it? I think it's different characters as well that are celebrated within the teams. So that's what I liked about it. But I think what makes a really great team is everybody understands the common goal, and why you're doing it. A lot of the times people lose why they're doing it. And I think that's one of the key things is everybody understands their why and the team's why. Because I was in Clermont down in France for a few years, for 3 seasons. And the second season I was in Clermont, we had a great year. We made 2 finals. We made the European Challenge Cup final and the top 14 final. Sadly, we were beaten in the top 14 final, but we managed to win the European Challenge Cup, thankfully. And I think that season it was really clear that everybody was really, you could just tell everybody was really determined and on the same page. So I think that's what helps make a great team. There's many factors.
What a great trophy to win.
I would have liked to have won the top 14 as well. I'm not going to lie to you, but you can't win them all.
Yeah, exactly. How did you bounce back after a bad game?
You can't be upset at yourself for too long. That's probably something where I wasn't very good. I was very passionate, and I always wanted to obviously do well, like most people. But I think that's something I probably held on to for too long, because you're going to have a poor performance. Sometimes it's just going to happen. We're all human beings, and that's just part of life. Yeah, it's just part of life. So I think how I got to a point where I was able to say just that acceptance. I've had a poor game. Sometimes there's a reason, sometimes there's not. You just make a mistake, and then you end up losing a bit of confidence. So you just go back to the training field, really, Arthur, just as quickly as you can. Focus on the next job was always something I tried to talk about. So if you have a poor game on Saturday, the next games come on the following Saturday. You just get your vision and your mind and your thoughts stay on to the next game and think about that one, because what's just went past you, the game that's just been played will never ever be played again, and thinking about it and beating yourself up about it is not going to help you perform better in the next game.
That's very helpful. Thank you. And how did the levels step up between club and country?
I think the best way to describe that maybe is everything just probably happens a little bit quicker. Everybody's maybe got a little bit better skills, and that's collectively. Obviously, in the club game, there's great players as well, but I think it just steps up a level so that maybe the scrums will be slightly tougher. The lineouts will be slightly quicker movement. For example, there'll be quicker players on average across the field. So everything's just happened that little bit quicker, a little bit faster. So you have to think quicker. You got to be one of the players that's actually making it quicker to be able to survive in that. But it's a great experience, and hopefully all you young boys and girls hopefully watching this podcast, are going to be able to experience international rugby one day if you stick in and make it to the top.
What was the biggest challenge you faced as a rugby player?
I wasn't selected for. I was training with the Scotland squad in 2011, I think it was, before the Rugby World Cup. I was in the extended squad, and I wasn't selected to go to that Rugby World Cup, and I was very disappointed. And I was a little bit younger then, and I think that was a point in my career that I felt I could either not quite give up, but I could either just sit and be comfortable and be a professional and get paid, or I could say I'm going to prove some people wrong and really try and push on and certainly make it to the next World Cup. And fortunately for myself, I was able to do that. So there'll be setbacks along the way for everybody. Some will be bigger than others, but I think it won't be success, certainly in rugby, in professional rugby. It won't be in a straight line. It won't go from A to B for most people, Arthur. So it's a great lesson. Your journey might go this way, that way, that way. But if you strong enough in your mind and you truly believe in yourself, you can achieve what you want to achieve.
Wow, that's very interesting. Thank you. As a scrum half, what other position on the rugby pitch did you rely on the most?
Probably the whole forward pack, to be honest. So if the forward pack can give you some nice ball, whether it's cleaning rucks or good scrums, good lineouts, stuff like that. And I think in terms of communication wise, probably the number 10 was very important. But I think first and foremost for a scrum half, if your forward pack are giving you a nice ball, so it's nice and fast. And in modern rugby now, I guess it's not maybe just the forwards. Obviously, people cleaning rucks, but I'll still stick with the forwards, mate. So if you can look after any of the young halfbacks, if you can look after the forwards, buy them a few drinks, a few coffees here and there, it'll go a long way.
I will. Thank you. When you were part of the Scotland squad, how did you handle competing for your position?
Yeah, I think, again, I maybe wasn't very good at this when I was a little bit younger. I think I was so focused on my place that I think sometimes that maybe didn't help the team. At times, if I wasn't selected, maybe I was a bit upset, and sometimes potentially, that didn't actually help the team at times. So I think it's great to be competitive, and you definitely need that in international rugby. But I think sometimes, if you're not selected, does your actions or do your actions still help the team, in the lead up to the game? So just having honest conversations as well with like the coach is a key thing to do around that selection. Arthur, as well is just go on, and if you're not selected, go and asking why, and saying, okay, well, if that's the reason why, then I'm going to work on this. So, yeah, but being competitive is something you have to have in international rugby. So I'd very much encourage that competitive side.
Wow, that's very helpful. Thank you. And what wisdom do you have now that you wished you had when you started out in the game?
Oh, yeah. I was quite, I guess when I first came into the Scotland team and stuff, I was probably too emotional a little bit in terms of, I sometimes got caught up, certainly in my younger days, as I said, when I came into the Scotland team around, I'm playing for Scotland and we've got to get real sort of emotive and get up for this game. Where sometimes you have to have emotion. Well, I think you do anyway, but you have to use it at the right times and in the right ways, because sometimes, you can almost blind yourself a little bit in terms of when you're on that rugby field. You maybe start making poor decisions because your headspace is in that calm state of mind. So yeah, that's definitely something I learned over the years, and it's something that really helped me to be nice and clear in my thoughts and calm, and using emotion at the right times was a real key learning for me over the years, Arthur. Good question.
How would you control your emotions?
I was able to, or I was very lucky, I guess. I was given help, by a lot of people from different fields, in terms of the military. I was able to speak to people in the military around, how they control their emotions, mental skills coaches, stuff like that. I really enjoyed all that stuff. So, and because I was a goal kicker as well, I think I had to learn to do that pretty quickly. And everything's based around process, so especially goal kicking. So, if you're putting the ball on that tee, if I was in Murrayfield Stadium, for example, and there's 70,000 people, making noise and chanting, some of them cheering for you, some of them are maybe not cheering for you. So, but if I start to worry about the crowd, if I start to worry about that external noise and pressure, or perceived pressure, because it's really just a perception pressure, then maybe I'm going to miss that kick. If I just worry about my process, think about my skill, if I can stay present within the game of rugby. So, if I, again, to use as an example, if I'm in Murrayfield Stadium, if I'm, really clear in my mind, if I can look up and I can see the clock, there's 32 minutes played. Okay, there's 32 minutes played. This is the score line. What's my next job? And be really clear and just be present around being a really good rugby player.
Thank you. And what do you miss most about playing rugby?
Yeah, I think I missed the changing room probably. After, in terms of I'm sure you guys at your club at the moment, I'm sure you have a bit of fun and some laughs and stuff like that, which I hope you do. So, I think that's what anybody will miss the most. It's funny because when you become a professional rugby player, that environment pretty much becomes your life, really, because you do it most days. So it can become a bit of a shock when you come out the other side and you don't have that network around about you. So it's important to. I'm very fortunate, I've got a beautiful wife and three young kids, 3 young boys after that keep me very busy. So I've got other things to worry about, which is great. But definitely the changing room would be what I would miss the most.
Do your kids play rugby?
Yeah, they do. My 2 big boys do anyway. I've got my oldest, he's 10, nearly 11. So they play, well, Rudy, he's called, and Rocco. They both play, they're 10 and 8. So they both play in Japan. We're currently still over in Japan. But my little Max is only 2. So I'm sure watching his brothers, mate, he'll be the next one to start playing the game as well.
Wow, thank you. And how did you cope with your nerves before a game, and what kind of techniques did you use?
I think that's probably coming back to a little bit of that mental skills stuff that we touched on, and probably also that preparation, I guess, as well. If you feel really prepared, and really, you need to try and again, it's like goal kicking stuff. The human brain if you've got a goal kick, the first thing that the human brain will tell you is don't miss, and that's the last thing you need to be thinking about. So you're having a real positive mindset, around you're going and playing the game. So look forward to the challenge. So if you're in the tunnel and a big test match, you got to be looking forward to that challenge. You don't want to be thinking, "Oh, I don't want to run out on this field. What if I make a mistake or something like that?" I think you trust your process, trust your preparation. Don't worry about making mistakes, and if you can do that, you can control your real positive mindset, for yourself. That's the key.
Thank you. And what legacy do you feel you have left in the game from playing your rugby days?
I'd always just tried to be the best version of myself. Arthur, that was kind of what I was all about. I think I was always willing to give my time, especially to young players, to really help them. So hopefully my legacy around the players, the clubs I've been involved with is a real positive one, and I always try to make any environment I went into, I definitely tried to make it better. So I can feel real confident about saying things like that. So and I certainly tried my hardest. So that's all you can do. At the end of the day, mate, is try your hardest, have fun, try to take people along with you as well. So, if you can encourage, if you've got great behaviours, if you can encourage a few other teammates to do the same, I think that's a great lesson. And because the more people you have with excellent behaviours, then the chances are the environment that you're in or you're creating is going to be a better one. So, yeah, it's hopefully young fellas, young boys and girls these days set great environments and really enjoy it and help each other.
Wow, that's very interesting. Thank you.
There's no
So,
rush, mate.
Greg, what was your favourite match you've ever played in?
Maybe Arthur was when we won the Calcutta Cup 2018. Yeah, sorry about that, but we beat England. Scotland beat England that day. It's probably my favourite one.
Why was it your favourite?
We hadn't beaten England for a long time, and I think we played really well that day up in Scotland, up in Murrayfield. So, yeah, that was probably why.
What was your favourite trophy you've ever won, since you've won quite a lot?
Yeah, I mean, the Calcutta Cup, that's a great trophy to win when you play against England. I think it was great to win a trophy with Claremont. Sadly, as I said, it wasn't the top 14. We won the Challenge Cup. Also won the Challenge Cup with Gloucester.
Thank you. And who was your favourite player growing up?
My favourite player growing up was George Gregan, actually, Australian player. He used to play halfback for Australia. Excellent player. He was quite small. That's maybe what attracted me to watching him. But he was really a really smart player, and he was sort of coming through and playing for Australia when I was starting to watch the Tri Nations as it was back then. So he was my favourite player when I was growing up.
And what was your favourite try or conversion?
I scored a try for Scotland against Samoa in the 2015 World Cup up in Newcastle. And maybe thinking back, maybe that was probably my favourite try. The game was probably a bit closer than we would have hoped that day. We probably never played our best game, but yeah, I was able to score there and really help the team. And yeah, that was probably the one that sticks in my mind.
Thank you. And thanks so much for being on my podcast. I really appreciate it. And who of your rugby mates would you say would be great on my podcast?
If you could get a hold of Finn Russell, Finn would be good.
And thanks so much. I really appreciate taking your time to be on the podcast. Thank you.
No problem. Pleasure, mate.